everyone, this is Yoan and today I've got a new quilt pattern to share with you. So we're gonna make this solo quilt. This quilt requires only 3 different fabrics to make the quilt top, the main fabric, the coordinating fabric, and the background fabric to pull everything together. So this is a great pattern to use if you don't feel like picking up 17 different fabrics for a quilt. Don't get me wrong, I love scrappy quilt. I love quilts with so many different variation of fabric, but sometimes it's nice to focus on 1 or 2 fabrics that are already very rich in pattern or color. The finished measurements of this quilt are about 73 inches wide by 86.5 inches tall. I use Indonesian batik fabric for the main and coordinating fabric. I bought these fabrics during my trip to Indonesia late summer last year. These batik fabrics come from the Solo region in Central Java. That's the name of the quilt. There are several regions in Indonesia that produce batik, and Solo is one of the most popular one. I've never been there, but it's in my bucket list to go and to experience the local batik workshop. Alright guys, enough of me talking. You can go get the PDF pattern. It's free at YoanSewingStudio.com. I will put the link somewhere in the description box down below. And without further ado, let's jump straight into the tutorial. First, we're gonna make the block 1. So you wanna lay out your pieces just like shown here. If you use fabric A for the piece 1, make sure to use fabric B for piece 2 and vice versa. So make sure to alternate them. Next, we're gonna sew piece 1 with the piece 3 on each side. So we're gonna stitch everything right sides together. As usual, we're gonna use scant 1/4 inch seam allowance. I highly recommend to use 1/4 inch foot if you have one. Press the seams towards the piece 1. Now we're gonna repeat to sew the opposite side. Also press the seams towards piece 1. Next, we're gonna stitch this row of piece 2, 3, and 2, both the lower and the upper row. Next, we're gonna stitch these rows of piece 2, 4, 2. Press the seams towards piece 4. Now we're gonna join these 3 adjacent rows on the center. So I'm gonna start with these 2 units, lay them right sides together. Nest the seams just like that. If you want, you can use pin to secure the seams, or you can match the seams as you go, just like what I do here. Press the seams towards the other row. Now we're gonna stitch this unit the same way. Alright, now the center unit is done. Next, we're gonna sew piece 4 to the sides. Sew with the strip facing up while matching and holding on to the opposite edge as you go. Press the seams towards piece 4. Now we're gonna sew these remaining rows, so let's lay these right sides together. And if you follow the pressing direction, you should be able to easily nest the seams. And just like before, I'm gonna match the seams as I go. If you prefer to use pins, feel free to pin them beforehand. Okay, I forgot to take the footage for the pressing direction. So you want to press towards the middle unit, just like indicated with the arrows here. And if everything lays flat, the finished block should measure 14 inch by 14 inch. Arrange the pieces of the block too, just like shown here. Make sure to alternate between fabric A and B on piece 5 and 3. First, we're going to join piece 5 and 6 here. Press the seams towards piece 5 and repeat to sew the opposite side. Next, we're going to join this unit with piece 7. Press the seams towards piece 7. Next, we're going to join piece 3 to the sides of the middle unit. Press the seams towards piece 3. Next, we're going to stitch these rows of piece 2, 3, and 2. Alright, next we're gonna join these 3 adjacent rows. So first I'm gonna stitch this upper with the middle unit. If you follow the pressing direction, you should be able to nest the seams easily. Now press the seams towards the upper row. Next we're gonna sew piece 4. And last, we're gonna sew piece 8 to the top and the bottom of the unit. Sew with the strip facing up, match the opposite edge and hold on to it as you sew. Alright, block 2 should look just like this. The finished measurements should be the same as block 1, which is 14-inch square. So you want to make 15 each block 1 and block 2. So in total you will have 30 blocks. Lay them out in 6 rows and each row should have 5 blocks alternating between block 1 and block 2. Here I've already arranged and labeled my blocks according to each row in order. Now let's join these blocks together, 1 row at a time. Press the seams towards one side and you want to alternate the pressing direction of each row so that later on you can nest the seams as you join the rows together. Once you've already joined all the blocks from each row, it's time to join the rows together. So I'm sewing and matching the seams as I go. Again, if you're more comfortable in pinning them together first, feel free to use pins. Press the seams towards one side. Next, we're gonna attach the border. This pattern calls for 3-inch wide border and you may need to join few strips together to get the desired length. Start by attaching the short border or border 1. Now, this time I like to pin this beforehand. First, match the center point of the border with the center point of the quilt top and then pin. And then you want to match both ends of the border with the edges of the quilt top. And then continue pinning the rest of the border. Stitch with the border facing up and then press the seams towards the border. Once you've done attaching the border, you want to sandwich the quilt top with the batting and the quilt backing and then quilt as desired. I free motion my quilt with simple swirl design, pretty much meandering the entire quilt. Nothing extremely fancy here. Finish your quilt by binding the raw edges with your favorite binding method. I've got a tutorial on how to bind a quilt, so if you're interested, you can go check that out. The link will be somewhere in the description box down below. And that's pretty much it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye!